Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Deneb again, and welcome to another edition of Ethics. And in this week's video, we are going to be discussing about a very hard topic. It's a little bit of a slippery slope. We're going to be talking about euthanasia. As a matter of fact, we are going to be discussing a very special case. It's about Little Miss Julianna Snow. She's a 5-year-old child suffering from a very incurable, terminal, and chronic disease, a neuromuscular disease, as a matter of fact. And I'm going to be giving out my comments about that. I'm going to be including the link below so that you guys could actually watch the video yourselves, so that you can get an idea of what I was saying, what I was commenting in this video. Okay, so for the first question that was presented to us, I believe that this particular scenario can be classified under voluntary active euthanasia, wherein the patient, which is Little Miss Julianna Snow, made the personal request for terminating her own life on her own demands, on her own. With her own decision, meaning that she is of competent mind. Well, that's going to be discussed further, but she basically wanted to do things her way, giving her that right to decide. Okay, so for the second question, I think the biggest argument that we could actually get from this is that are we able to allow a child like Julianna Snow to make that kind of decision for herself? I mean, one of the requirements for euthanasia would be the age factor, right? People must be at least 18 years old or older. Clearly, again, she's a child. She's 5 years old. Is it grounds enough to let the child actually make that decision for herself, knowing that she is not, I don't know, again, of age, and it's hard to gauge what her competency level is, right? Okay, so for the third question, it's like a two-parter. It asks how does it qualify, or how is it a criteria, and how is it not a criteria, right? So for me, I think that this particular scenario met the criteria when it comes to the disease for the patient, right? So it's obvious that little Julianna is not going to get better. It's a terminal disease, and as she gets older, it's just going to get worse. And clearly, she's in pain. She could say that every time that she visits the hospital, every time she gets that intubation done or that process done for her, it just hurts her, right? So again, it's an incurable disease, and that's one of the criteria that puts a little check mark on it, that it's fine. But the reason it does not meet the criteria, again, is her age factor. It's sad that for someone as young as her, for like 5 years of age, to be suffering like that. But are we able to allow a child to make a decision like that? Is it within the grounds? Is it possible? So I think that one, age, is definitely like the biggest one for her not to meet that criteria. Okay, so for the fourth question, the biggest ethical dilemma that I can see with this particular scenario is who actually has the right to decide for euthanasia for a child, right? Like, again, for the rules for MAID, it has to be somebody that is 18 years old or older, right? In this particular scenario, it's the parents are the only ones, since they're the legal guardians for that. Do they make the decision? Are they the ones that actually put the go on this if they do want to make the child or have the child undergo euthanasia? One of the biggest dilemmas that I can see here is that the Julianna, although she's really young and although she's young, she consents to it. She understands that this is what I want, and this is what I want to go through. But again, she's just too young. The parents, however, they are trying their best. They really want to go ahead and find ways to prolong her life, to make sure that she's comfortable as best as they can. They were unwilling to go through euthanasia, but when it was presented to the child, she consented, and I guess the parents are just accepting. And I mean, what can they do? This is their child to make the decision, right? So again, it's a hard call. All right, so regarding this argument right here, the one that I mentioned earlier about who has the right to decide, I guess I am going to agree with what the video says and what Julianna wants. Now, it's clear that the child is really young, but her level of competency for somebody her age is, I mean, it's wise beyond her years. You know what I mean? I understand that she is in pain, and she would rather stay in a place that's within her comfort zone. You know what I mean? She loves being with her family. She likes her princess room, her princess dresses and everything. And as a father, I've got a daughter like that likes to dress up, right? So it's kind of a bittersweet scenario, really, if you think about it, because it's bitter that someone as young as that is given an option to decide something as difficult as that. You know what I mean? Like, I personally feel like, man, I wouldn't want to be the parents for Julianna in that situation, because it's hard, right? It's bitter in a way that nobody has to die that young, and for her to make that decision is just so hard. But it's sweet in a way that Julianna's surrounded by people who love her. She's so smart. She gets the grasps of the idea of death and afterlife and things like that. And if she thinks that she's not going to be in pain anymore and she likes that, then I'm going to support that. I'm going to go for whatever makes her happy. Okay. So, changes regarding legislation, right? The biggest change that I would probably make for that would be the age factor. I'd still like to keep it within 18 years and above, but they should have some sort of a subsection on that allows people that are under 18 to be able to make the decision if and only if they do have a terminal disease, like a chronic disease that will end their life and it's guaranteed. 2, they were deemed competent by both by the law and by professionals. There should be some sort of test that could actually gauge that if they can make that decision for themselves. The third one they personally have to make the request. It can be oral or written, or I mean, with technology now they can take a video of that too. It's both something that was recorded, like said, but again, there's like proof. You know what I mean? And lastly, it has to be approved by their legal guardian and by the professionals. Even if the child says, or somebody that's younger than 18 says that they do want to die, but if parents do not agree, or the legal guardians do not agree with that, and like other professionals disagree with that too, that should put a halt in it. You know what I mean? Because again, they're the minority, and it's a hard call. But for me, they should try to tweak out the law just a little bit more, because I'm pretty sure like Julianna is not the only one out there suffering with that kind of disease, and a lot of parents, well, they're trying their best, but I'm pretty sure there's some younger folks out there that really want to consider that but aren't qualified. So there you go. Whew. Okay, that was a very, very difficult topic to go ahead and comment about. What can I say? Euthanasia is actually a very difficult topic to discuss, right? Now, thankfully, there are laws, or there's some legislation out there and some educational information that gives us information on how to go about through medical assistance in dying. But the actual conversation of death itself and dying, it's just hard, right? It's natural for people to just love life, right? So, and I think that's what we should do every day. We should just enjoy life and just celebrate life, right? And as I always say at the end of every video that I do, be safe and just be kind to everyone. Okay? So this is Dineb signing off.